This Diversity, Access, and Equity project examines a case between Mendez vs Westminster School District, which happened in 1946 in the United States Courts of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit in Westminster, California. We have organized our video project into the following sections: contextual background, outcomes and implications, and a reflection on the case that relates to issues of segregation, social class, and education as discussed with our class readings. Years before the Brown v. Board of Education Supreme Court case ended racial segregation in the education system, the case of Mendez v. Westminster came to light, except in this case, it dealt with the inequality of Mexican-American school children. When the children of Gonzalo Mendez were unable to attend a school in the Westminster School District because they were dark-skinned, he and 4 other fathers, William Guzman, Frank Polomino, Thomas Estrada, and Lorenzo Ramirez, went on behalf of their children to file a suit claiming racial discrimination. They filed a class suit against Westminster, Garden Grove and El Modeno school districts, and Santa Ana City Schools, all located in Orange County, California, along with each respective school's trustees and superintendents. They complained that the school violated their children's 14th Amendment and were discriminated against because they were of Mexican and Latino descent. The case all began when Mendez's sister took his children and her own to enroll in one of the schools at Westminster District. Ironically, the sister's children were able to enroll because their skin was light-complected and their last name was of French descent. However, Mendez's children were not able to enroll and were going to be forced to attend a racially segregated school, Hoover Elementary, for Mexican-American students. This then led to the organization of the class suit in 1946, which also affected about 500 other students and families. These families wanted to challenge the segregation their children faced and put an end to it in the Orange County school districts. The petitioners of the case demanded these rules and regulations be voided and declared as unconstitutional. In 1946, the judge of the case decided to rule in favor of Mendez and the other families, and claimed that any violation of the U.S. Constitution rights by state and local government officials would be dealt with federal court intervention. In his decision, he also claimed that segregating the children made it more difficult for them to learn English, and that segregating would suggest inferiority among races where none exists. Segregation is the act or state of setting someone or a group of individuals apart basically because they are different. These differences include disabilities, social class, and one of the biggest problems in school systems, race. It has been seen in studies and research that desegregation has improved all students' educational outcomes and success, which includes minorities. And it has also been shown that all forms of segregation harm academic achievement and performance. And as future teachers, our goal is to have our students succeed in an environment where they all are equal among each other. In August of 1963, Reverend Martin Luther King delivered a speech that will resonate for the rest of history. In this speech, he spoke of ending discrimination and coming together as a country of equals. Though his speech was delivered for an entirely different purpose, the meaning behind it all speaks much to the case and the segregation these children of California faced, and the pain their families went through watching it happen. As future educators, it is important for us to realize the implications of our past and teach the next generation and beyond what it is like to live in a world where segregation does not exist and everyone is seen and treated as the equals they are. As said in Ferguson, public officials wanted Mexican children in schools but segregated so that they could be controlled and indoctrinated, so that they could be Americanized, learn English, and rid themselves of their native languages and customs, which the officials deemed detrimental to assimilation and to the maintenance of a unified nation. This kind of learning where students are condemned and excluded from others because of their native languages is known as subtractive schooling and takes away from the student's sense of identity, which is what was starting to happen with these students when they are segregated into the Mexican-American schools. In the case of Mendez vs. Westminster, the school officials of that district actually believed that the Mexican-American students were retarded in their English speaking, which caused them to segregate their schools in order for them to learn. This situation also has a reflection and connection to the Stolen Education film by Dr. Alamán, where his mother and her classmates were discriminated against because they were of Mexican descent and spoke Spanish. Like the students in the Mendez case, there were repercussions of the discrimination they faced. However, the outcomes of both cases ignited the need and the want for change in the way school officials viewed their minorities, especially Mexican American students. Mexican American culture and language is rich and has deep roots, and for a school district to try and lessen that, it should be seen as unconstitutional. Though there has been issues in the past, there has also been triumphs that we should celebrate and let be known. Cases dealing with Mexican Americans and their education, such as Mendez Vs Westminster and Mendez Vs Rusco, should be taught and acknowledged in curriculum as a lesson for it never to happen again. We must be aware of the difficulties any minority faces in the school system, and we must all share a passion for change.
For Sylvia Mendez, a lifelong quest for equality began when she was just 8 years old. Outraged that their daughter had to attend a segregated school, Sylvia's parents linked arms with other Latino families to fight injustice in a California federal court, a case that would pave the way for Brown versus Board of Education. The next year, when a classmate taunted Sylvia saying that Mexicans didn't belong there, she went home in tears begging to leave the school. Her mother wouldn't have it. She told Sylvia, "Don't you realize that's why we went to court? You're just as good as he is." And Sylvia took those words to heart. And ever since, she has made it her mission to spread a message of tolerance and opportunity to children of all backgrounds and all walks of life.